Hello, and welcome to CN's The Inside Track, a podcast about North America's railroad and supply chain enabler. I'm Shelley Grushko from CN's communications team, and with me today is Keegan Donaghey, Senior Manager, Temperature Controlled Services at CN. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
So today, Keegan is going to give us a bit of background about temperature-controlled shipping at CN, as well as talk us through some of our product offerings. You ready, Keegan?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
Okay, perfect. So Keegan, tell us a little bit, what do we mean when we're talking about temperature-controlled shipping?
Yeah, so temperature-controlled at CN is specific to our ability to control the temperature in transit. What the asset type that we like to do this with is our 53-foot refrigerated asset. What the asset is capable of doing is that while in transit, we can monitor and manage the temperature as well as some of the powering functions of that asset while it's in transit with the full intent of that we deliver that product on time and on temperature to our destination. So we do this specifically with more of a frozen or a cold product, but we also have applications that require more of a protect from freeze, or there's specific commodities that they have to be within that temperature range. That's kind of where this asset really starts to play.
Okay, great. So these are specific containers that have that ability for refrigeration, for heating and for cooling?
Yeah, they're primarily called a 53-foot refrigerated container, but they have the ability to go both ways. CN ourselves has about 1,000 containers, and then our subsidiary TransX has another 1,100 containers. So between the two of us, we have one of the largest fleets of intermodal refrigerated containers that provide this temperature-controlled capacity in North America. Wow. Yeah.
So we're talking about food and beverages, but it's more than that, right? We ship other kinds of commodities that need temperature-sensitive shipping.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a lot of frozen beef, frozen pork. A lot of the proteins do very well with rail transit. We move a lot of dairy. We've seen some pharmaceutical type loads. If we look at more of the international side, on the import side, there's all the different commodities that we consume through our retail markets that come in through an import market. We do find moves within our product type. We talk about the citrus, lemons, oranges, limes, a lot of alcohol we move in these types of assets. So it very much is exactly what, when you go to the grocery store and what you think of when you go past the the produce, or you walk through the dairy section or the frozen section. All that stuff is things that moves on our rail line.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So holiday meals and all of that.
Yes.
CN's brought some of that to market so that we could have it at our table. You mentioned international. That's interesting to me. So we don't just move refrigerated containers domestically. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned there off the top, when we talk temperature controlled, it's the ability of us to physically monitor that asset. When we look at the international side, what we provide as CN in terms of a temperature controlled perspective is the power. We have 100 what we call intelligent genset power packs. They can power up to 17 different 40-foot containers provided by the steamship lines with their cargo through their customer base. And we help facilitate those movements from whether it's port to an inland market, or on the other side with the inland market out to port, providing that scale across the country. Because the alternative to us within the international space is a one-to-one clip-on model, which can be effective in very small markets, but when you start looking at some of the volume we do and the scope and size of which it is, deploying these power packs, providing that power in transit, it allows us to create some efficiencies for our customers and ultimately for the consignees and the shippers here within North America.
Okay. So what you're saying is those power packs can power multiple containers and make sure that the temperature is correct in all of them.
Yes. We can provide the power.
Okay.
The temperature integrity, we don't have the ability to monitor that. So I don't want to speak out of turn and say that we can do that. But we can monitor the power and the power quality that's going to those units.
Okay.
And what we find is we can tell within fairly comfortably that if they're pulling power, it's operating properly. But what we've done on our side to help mitigate any type of those temperature issues is we've deployed vendors across our network to action any emergency events, but also we've deployed a vendor in Winnipeg. So you can imagine our network, a lot of the cargo is going from central Canada through Port of Vancouver, Port Prince Rupert. So a lot of that cargo is moving through Winnipeg.
Okay.
So in Winnipeg, we deployed a vendor who actually has access, works with our operations team, has coordinated effort. They get blue flag protection, so they're being safe. They go out and they'll check the genset, the power quality, and they'll check each unit. And they'll give us a report, and it'll allow us to action accordingly. So if we need to make an emergency event in Edmonton, if we need to deploy a vendor so that when this unit arrives in Vancouver, it's being checked or rewired or whatever the case may be, we've deployed very much a manual, hands-on, customer-centric approach to help mitigate the lack of visibility we have with not controlling the actual refrigerated asset.
Okay. And we also do quite a bit of refrigerated movements, from the U.S. or to the U.S. Is that correct?
We do not directly as CN, but what we find, there's lots of opportunity with some of our U.S.-based reefer carriers.
Okay.
So, we have a very strong relationship with JB Hunt. We have a strong relationship with Hub. These are very large IMCs in the U.S. that have container and reefer fleets. So we're always looking to support them within that corridor to help make that cross-border program more effective.
Great. Now, when we're talking about these power packs and these reefer fleets, it occurs to me that there's a substantial amount of innovation and technology at work here. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned with the power packs, that was kind of one of the things that really got this program up and running was the deployment of this power monitoring, this power quality filtering that we do to ensure that one power pack can provide consistent, reliable power to all those 17 containers or 15 containers, whatever it may be on hand, the different chilled or frozen. They have different requirements on the power. You can imagine a chilled's running a lot, it's pulling a lot, frozen a little less so. Especially in the winter, it's probably not pulling much at all because the ambient temperature around that container is consistent with what they want the internal temperature at.
Okay.
So what that power quality monitoring does is it'll make sure that if container 1 is pulling hard on that power and that current, it won't impact the power that's going to container 2. And so on and so forth as it goes down the cables and goes further away from the power pack. So that technology was crucial because that allowed us to, instead of having a critical failure across all units or a critical failure with the power pack itself, any type of intermediate issue is specific to one container, which allows us to help obviously mitigate some risk, but also allows us to very much pinpoint our repair and that midpoint inspection requirements as we deploy that team.
And those containers can be set at different temperatures and, how exact can we get for temperature setting?
It depends on the setting that we have in the background. So it depends on the steamship line. It depends on ourselves. Most of the product that we move can withstand somewhere between a 3 to 5% variance in temperature without impacting the quality of the product.
Okay.
So that's, frozen product, you can get away with a bit more of a range.
Yeah.
Because frozen's frozen to some point. Pharmaceuticals, not so much. Yeah. It's very tight.
It has to be exact.
And you got to set the container to operate and to be pinpointed to that very tight parameter.
Okay.
So any type of saline solution, it very quickly could, you end up destroying a very large commodity very quickly. If the temperature settings aren't correct.
But we have that ability to get it there at the right temperature.
The assets have the ability to do it, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So when we're talking about the technology at play here, it's more than just the power integrity. There's a lot of other innovations that are also involved in temperature shipping. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'll divide our two products into two different comments here, I guess. So as I mentioned with international, we have the genset power packs. We also have the clips, or clip-on gensets that provide power. The clip-on gensets have their own telematics software that we're able to access remotely. So our team can monitor those, that power product while in transit.
Okay.
But then at the terminal level, because we don't own the asset that's coming in the gate, we've deployed a technology that allows us to remotely monitor those assets while within our possession. So while it's on our ground power, which each one of our major terminals has, we have the ability to remotely monitor the temperature and power quality, power that's going to that container before it then is removed and delivered to the train within our strategic operating parameters that we've deployed in terms of ensuring that the power is always being provided to those containers. Mm-hmm. On the domestic side, each one of our 1,000 refrigerated containers, as well as the fleet deployed by Transex, each one of them has the same telematics software that allows us to remotely monitor those containers while in transit and while under load. So it allows us and our team that's dedicated to managing those assets to monitor the product while in transit, while in our possession, from the second it in-gates and we pick it up to when we deliver at destination. With the intent and the really the priority to make sure that we're delivering that product at the temperature in which we're asked to.
You mentioned Port of Vancouver. Are there any other ports that we're working with pretty closely in terms of refrigerated products?
Yeah. So our refrigerated product, specifically on the international side, obviously, is deployed across all 3 coasts that we touch here in North America.
Okay.
So we have products through Vancouver and Prince Rupert, but then we also provide products through Port of Montreal, Port Halifax, Port of St. John, and then down through the Gulf. Port of Mobile, Port of New Orleans, we have the capability and the capacity to provide that service through that corridor as well.
So Keegan, tell me a little bit about what some of the markets we can help our customers reach.
Internationally, we help facilitate all major import-exports within the refrigerated, even the heated space, any type of temperature control or temperature protective surface through all of our gateways. So like I mentioned earlier, Vancouver, Rupert, Halifax, Montreal, Mobile, New Orleans. As we look to expand some more markets, there'll be more ports. Philadelphia, that offline program we're running with the CSX. So we help facilitate all that trade. And that goes into all international markets, whether it's Asia or Europe or the Caribbean, Africa. We're seeing commodities get traded from all over the world. So we help facilitate that. And then on the domestic side, most of our containers are deployed here within Canada. We primarily see the market coming from producing markets in Toronto and Montreal to consuming markets in Western Canada. Okay. That's kind of where intermodal, because now you have the length of the miles, we start to see a lot more of our product and our containers moving to help facilitate that. We've also seen more and more kind of a transload product. So we're talking markets. It's markets that maybe traditionally would not have moved, whether it was a 53 or maybe didn't even move inland at all. Maybe it was transferred over to a truck.
Okay.
We're starting to see more and more conversations around, okay, well, let's get it into Canada. Let's get it inland. Let's transload it from a 40-foot container into a 53-foot reefer container and facilitate those movements that we're doing today.
You mentioned winter. When we're going through winter, it's not just about keeping things cool, but it's about keeping things from freezing. So what kind of product or what kind of work do we do there? Yeah,
so that's kind of where we step out of the whole narrative of temperature controlled.
Yeah.
And we kind of go into more of a temperature protection.
Okay.
And a lot of the commodities that we move within those asset types, you don't want the cargo to freeze. It can be cool, it can be warm, which it normally moves because it moves in dry containers in the summer, but we don't want it to freeze. So you see that a lot with the alcohol producers, a lot of the beverage producers.
Okay.
Some of the other commodities that move in dry containers throughout the year, they flip into this protect from freeze. So we have a fleet of 53-foot heaters that we have here in Canada specifically. It's not a common term used in the U.S. They deploy kind of a refrigerated fleet across the board where we've kind of differentiated that. So we have the 53-foot heaters, but then we also offer a 40-foot insulated program.
Okay.
And what that is we have our own fleet of just over 450 insulated containers that we own that are insulated on the inside. And then we also kind of lease, for lack of better words, containers from the steamship lines. They're reefers we can then turn into this insulated program. And what we do with that is we load the cargo, we bring it into our facilities, we plug it in, we get it up to about 55, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So, 30 degrees Celsius-ish. And then more or less like a thermos. We load it to rail and we send it. The containers have the ability to protect from freeze from up to 8 to 10 days. So anywhere on our network with our transits, we're delivering into, we want to talk about a product that's departing Toronto, we're delivering into Vancouver on day 5. Okay. So there's still lots of days, lots of time within that container to deliver. With anything temperature sensitive, it's priority to get it offloaded. So there's a little less risk in terms of it not being picked up on time. The cargo wants to be received. The receiver wants to receive this cargo. They want it on their shelves as fast as possible.
Of course.
So the program works very, very well to meet those needs.
Great. So, if you're a food or a beverage or even confectionery or pharmaceutical supplier and you want to get started with temperature controlled shipping at CN, How would you go about doing that?
First and foremost, we have a website, and that website has a lot of very good information on specifically the temperature controlled space in which we operate. A lot of great resources there. But most importantly, there's a contact us, which ends up in my inbox, which allows me to start that conversation. We also have an inside sales team here at CN at sales@cn.ca who does a phenomenal job filtering these opportunities, making sure that they get the right information to the right people, whether that's externally within their commercial discussions or even internally when they come to me as a resource to, how do we approach this opportunity? Is it something we can do? Is it something we can't do? Okay. Although we are a very big company when it comes to our intermodal product, we're a pretty small, compact team. And when you come to the temperature controlled side, it even more so.
Okay. So personalized service.
It is. We have the subject matter experts. There's few and far between in terms of what we offer, but they're available and they're more than happy to help.
So if you want to get started with temperature controlled shipping, does CN help just large businesses? Do we also cater to medium business? Can we do less than truckload? How does that work?
So at CN, our product offering specific to truckload customers, regardless of size and scale. We specialize in that very much door-to-door, sealed container type product. Our subsidiary TransX is where we get more into those specialty requirements. So if it's LTL, if it's deconsolidation, consolidation, different types of block and bracing requirements, they're set up with the expertise to deliver that product on our behalf. So we'll facilitate commercial opportunities between the two organizations to make sure that we're delivering the right product that fits the right needs. So you may end up reaching out to CN and the right fit for your product or your requirement is to actually come from TransX. Okay. So we have those conversations, and it's something actively that we try to do on the best, in the best interest of our customers.
Great. So if you want to get started, big or small business, you go to the cn.ca website, and the contact us button will take you to Keegan's inbox, and he'll make sure that you find what you need.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's definitely what we'll try to do. This is a space in which we need to be, giving it priority. We choose to give it priority across the organization. The team's dedicated in ordering to deliver this product, and we understand the requirements of our customers. We're absolutely excited for any opportunity that comes across and what we can do to make things enabled, I guess, as far as the supply chain.
Awesome. Are there any other value-added services that we provide to our customers with our temperature-sensitive shipping?
Yes. So when we look at the value add, I think we have a dedicated customer service team. That team's not only focused on a lot of our key accounts and our large accounts and delivering that product, but they're also there as subject matter experts for the rest of our team when we're deploying this product. They're a resource so that everyone understands the priority level in which we provide to these assets. Okay. We also have a fleet manager in the background that's giving this additional level of priority to this fleet, making sure that it's operating and it's in good working condition. So all that different level of priority is kind of in the back end, the front end, before the customers even order a container. And then we have obviously this value add that's offered by TransX, all the different products that they provide to the market. We have the remote monitoring technology. We have the midpoint inspections. We have the emergency vendor program that we deploy if there's any types of event to make sure that we're delivering that product, again, on temperature. So, and then in addition to the CNTL, we're making these deliveries to the retail grocers. We're delivering into these warehouses. So we do have that hands-on relationship with all the major retailers, not only from any type of commercial or the supply chain relationship that we may have, but also from a physical delivery, day-to-day, working with their warehouses, delivering to their doors, ensuring that there's no detention, the product's being offloaded in a timely manner. So all those different touch points that we manage every day are kind of extension of that first mile, last mile capacity that we offer, and it fits within that strategy of this temperature-controlled space.
Awesome. So it really all works hand in hand. You mentioned that small, dedicated group that is focused on temperature-controlled shipping, us with our partners at TransX, with CNTL, whether it's on the train or whether it's on the truck, we're monitoring it. We're making sure that it gets there on time and on temperature.
We have to. That's what the market wants. It's what the market needs. I think it'd be very easy for folks to assume that the railway wouldn't be willing to put in that type of time, effort, and energy into this commodity, but we absolutely do.
Yeah.
And we understand where we need to be. Mm-hmm. So as we look forward and we start to innovate our product, it all comes back to the understanding that we need to deliver on time with consistency and at the right temperature.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Absolutely.
And maybe transit time's, close second. But that becomes part of a value proposition with price and cost and commodity and that complex blend of risk.
Okay.
That maybe a shipper is willing to take. But if you can't deliver that product reliably, you can't pick up a phone when someone wants an answer, you're not really offering this market much.
Okay.
So we pride ourselves on having the right people in the right place to do those things effectively.
What's on the horizon for temperature controlled shipping at CN? Anything new or exciting coming up?
There's a lot of exciting things. I can't speak too specific to a lot of them because a lot of them are kind of in the pipipeline, and there's some.
That's why we'll bring him back.
There's some legal things in the way.
Another visit.
But we have some of the things I can speak to. I mean, Milton, the Chicago logistics park project that we have that are in the pipeline. Those real estate plays. We're going to be looking to see how we can leverage our product best within that space. Mm-hmm. Whether it's working with major receivers, major shippers to create some type of cohesive hub, or is it us just deploying a more, I'll call it specific deployment of our reefer product?
Okay.
Having a dedicated area within a yard where everything reefer starts and stops. Those types of efficiencies that we can get with a brand new terminal are things that will be huge for us in offering the product that I think our customers want. We're also looking at areas of our network where we can do a little bit more. One of the products that we offer is through the Port of Philadelphia with the CSX on an interline product.
Okay.
So you think CN, to your point earlier, you look at the map, you only go where your rail line goes. Well, that's not necessarily true. And we're changing that narrative specifically with intermodal with, that product with Philadelphia, but then obviously what we're doing on the dry side with the Falcon service that we offer down through to Mexico. Mm-hmm. So how do we do more of that? How do we look outside our little snow globe, I'll call it, given it's January in Montreal? And by that
you mean, partnering with other Class 1 railroads, with other shipping and logistics providers so that we can all work together to help our customers get to new markets.
Getting creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It'd be very easy for us to continue doing the same old and hoping that the market just organically grows. I think what we've seen is that from an intermodal perspective, the low-hanging fruit is moving intermodal. Mm-hmm. The folks that understand it, they like it, they're doing it today, and you're just trading market share back and forth. So as we look forward and we look to grow our product, we have to find a way to grow that market and grow that piece of the pie. And then as we do that, obviously we'll find the efficiencies and the gains within that market, which is exciting. We have lost capacity within our Eastern and our U.S. corridors.
Okay.
So we're going to look into those markets to see how we can do things differently. So those are exciting opportunities as we go and we find these markets for ourselves, mm-hmm. and hopefully open up the capacity and the efficiencies that CN can offer to these markets. And then one of the things that we were going to deploy at the back half of last year, we are very excited to hopefully deploy into this year as a phase one, is we're trying to find more ways to be more transparent with our data.
Okay.
One of the, I'll say, stigmas, I guess, against the railway and really intermodal to a lesser degree is, in a truck market, you can call the driver's right beside the truck, he can turn around, he can tell you exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. So what we're looking at rolling out is trying to make our available data, whether it's the downloads that we can provide from our assets or if it's live in transit data, how do we make that more visible? Mm-hmm. And how do we provide that to a customer base that maybe today is like, well, there's not enough information on what my container is doing when it's sitting in Northern Ontario.
Okay.
Well, let's change that. Maybe you can have access to that. And if you want to have someone sit there and watch the container and get that sense of feeling much better about where your product's at, then how do we provide that? So we're moving along that journey.
Okay.
We're looking with our new SCIO deployment, which I cannot tell you what that means. But it's our tools that are made available to our customers through our
so like CN1
exactly.
shipment tracking.
So we're looking to add one more.
Yeah. Okay,
that one more
great.
tool that's going to say, if you want to know what your container is doing while in transit from a temperature perspective, here it is.
Oh, great.
And it'll give it a bit more of a peace of mind.
Okay. And just to give everyone a bit of a background, CN1 is CN's robust backend for customers to log in to see where their shipments are in essentially real time, whether it's on the train or on the truck. And now we're looking at including in that some aspect of seeing where your temperature controlled shipments are at and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say where they're at, not necessarily where they're located, it's, how they're running.
How they're running.
Yeah. We'd, that's kind of the evolution of the space is they want more information. Obviously with more information becomes more conversations, and with more conversations, you can create more products.
That's great. So Keegan, what I'd really love to hear about is tell me a little bit about your career at CN and how you got to where you are now.
Sure. So I went to school. I have a Bachelor of Sports Management. So as you can imagine, back in, 2010.
Okay.
There wasn't much as far as an employment market. And then me coming into the market with this degree was very siloed. A lot of the folks that at the time that I was talking to and networking with, it was very, well, you're going into sport. So what does sport mean to you? And what do you want to do within sport? And unfortunately for myself, I realized quite quickly, okay, that's not really what I wanted to do. So now I have this degree. It's not what I wanted to do. But I was fortunate enough to network with the right person, I guess, at the right time. And there was an opportunity. I grew up in Toronto. An opportunity opened up in Calgary as a market analyst with CN. So grateful to a couple end up being mentors that took a risk on me because my degree didn't exactly scream railroader, right?
Yeah.
It's a big change.
But there's so many different routes to becoming a railroader.
And I'm proof of that.
Yeah.
Then it was just, I moved out to Calgary, worked within our petroleum and chemicals business unit. As a market analyst, there were some changes. Within 6 months, I ended up being promoted into a market manager title. I was given a very small portfolio of some of the commodities there as I was very much still learning.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, and anyone who's worked at a railroad, it takes a long time to learn it. Mm-hmm. It's not straightforward by any means, although it does seem that way. There's just years and years of compounding different terms and ways of doing business and projects that we've tried and failed and succeeded that it takes its time.
Yeah.
I handled a bunch of commodities out there for a couple of years. I ended up getting my MBA while I was doing that at night. And then an opportunity opened up for me to come back home to Toronto. It worked out well kind of with my personal life at the time. And I stepped into another market manager role here with our intermodal product, doing more or less kind of what I'm doing now. I ended up taking on the refrigerated container and the grocery products that we have. So I did that for 4 years, different commodities, different customers, always in that market manager capacity. Then I moved into the international side of the business in the same title, doing the reefers. Mm-hmm. So learned this side of the business, or the international side of the business. And then I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to apply to be in this capacity, senior manager temperature control a couple years ago, which I was fortunate enough to get, which was nice because it kind of brought what I was doing with intermodal domestic and what I was doing with international together. And then, being very kind of almost operationally centric, although it's a commercial capacity, I'm still very much relying on all the things I learned within my carload days on how the trains work and how we switch and how the crews and, bringing that all together in the conversations that we have every day and how I mentor the team and, educate them on how we do things. Having that kind of more rounded perspective of what the issues could be, mm-hmm. Or where the solutions could be, I think it's helped a lot with the team and how we build out our temperature control product. That's kind of my story. It's, I guess I'm on year 14 now.
Okay.
No, that doesn't sound right. 13, maybe 13 or 14. But always kind of in the marketing space. Yeah. This is kind of my first step out into more of a salesy / operations / customer service along with the marketing stuff. So it's been a lot to learn in a short period of time, but it's been exciting.
I love hearing people's CN stories because there's, it's really a company where people can move through not only different geographies, but also through different kinds of roles. And all of it, makes you a more well-rounded railroader. You learn more about different touch points of the business. And your story definitely says that.
Yeah, and you make a good point there about doing different things. I went out and I did the conductor qualification.
Oh, cool.
I didn't finish it because at the time I was going to finish it, I was also moving and having a child, so it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I did the rules. I got out on the rail. I did a couple runs. I got to feel it firsthand. I was car jockey trained. So the autoport, getting in the back of those, the bi-levels and the tri-levels and driving cars out and driving them across the ramps, like it gives you a totally different perspective of what it means to be a real railroader.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I question, like, am I really?
Well, we're all railroaders.
Yeah. But when you see what these guys go through and you get a perspective for what they go through and how they come to the table every day and deliver it, it definitely, to your point, you touch so many different things so quickly, and you can just get an appreciation for what we do and why we do it so well.
For sure. 365 days a year, 24/7.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It is. Yeah.
Keegan, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. I've known you for a number of years, but I'm still always learning new things from you. So thank you for sharing that with our audience. I hope you'll come back again and we can talk some more about some of the new things on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a lot of fun. I look forward to it.